going through. When I first got here, I had 20 ideas. I've been told 10 minutes is 10 minutes, so I've cut out 5. But I've got a URL at the end of the thing that lists all 20, so you guys don't need to worry about writing down domains or whatever it is, because they're all on our website and they're one page. So the first thing, the problem with being a virtual business is you've got nowhere for your customers to necessarily mail things. And how this kind of started is using mailboxes, etc. If you back life up a bit, for me, we started Ubertor Combustion. Ubertor is the software, so we run under that name. We started that business about 8 years ago, and it was sort of born out of my bedroom at my parents' house, and my business partner was up the street at his parents' house. And we operated fine for about 8 months until somebody came to my house to drop off a check, and my mom was there, I wasn't there, and they kind of freaked out because that was the address that they did a reverse lookup on our phone number. And so the next day we went and signed up with mailboxes, etc., so that we could sort of hide the fact that we were a home-based business, as well as stop people from showing up at my parents' place. But on sort of a sneaky side note that we didn't even expect, as we grew the business, we moved out of the house into an office, then to another office, then to another office, and then virtual. We never had to reprint our stationery because of the move, which was a huge savings for us, because the address never changed. It's always been the same one that we use on Canvas for 8 years and counting. So definitely worthwhile if you guys are in the same situation. Gmail.com is obviously an email program. It's a tool we use for managing our email. The best thing about it, and the big difference between Hotmail and Yahoo, is that the spam detection through the system is unbelievable. And you've got the ability to mask your domain. So our whole business, all of our employees are on Gmail, but if you email them, like steve@ubertour.com is actually Gmail. So our whole system is run there. Both businesses are run there. It's free. You can pay $50 per year and get a phone support, so you can actually phone Google and get questions answered about your email, not about anything else. But it's kind of cool to be able to have a phone number for your email support, and it's just a very cool tool. On the theme of Google, this is a big one. Not a lot of people know about it. It's grandcentral.com. It's a company that Google bought. It's still in beta. We use it completely. It's a phone system, basically. It's a virtual phone system. So the problems with being virtual is you need to have phone numbers somehow going somewhere, and going through to one person's cell phone doesn't really cut it. We used to use answering services, and that's okay, but you can get into Google's Grand Central and set up your business in there, and it's unbelievable. It's totally free. And customers can call, it's all American numbers, so we do have a workaround where we use our American number, it's all free, and we have a Vonage 604 phone number that forwards to that American number. So our Canadian customers and our British Columbia customers don't see the long distance charge, but it is just routing right through Grand Central, and you can set up different voicemails for every customer you've got. So you can recognize somebody's cell phone, and if that customer calls in, there can be a special message for that guy if you wanted to do it that way. You can upload your whole client base phone numbers, and if a non-customer calls, a different recording will come in, so maybe more of a sales recording rather than maybe a message that's more about retaining customers or talking about a new feature. It's a really slick program. All your voicemail comes through email. It's it's an unbelievable thing to do and to use. A big one here is SlimTimer. We're big into, like I said, we're big into automation. We try and automate everything in our business so that we don't have to do it. 2 years ago, we had 24 employees in the Ubertour business. Today, we've got 5. A lot of it's to do with outsourcing, and a big chunk of it has been automated, so we don't necessarily need to pay for those people to do things anymore. But where SlimTimer comes in for us is that we always felt it's kind of useless to automate something that might take 5 minutes a month to do. So we wanted to track everything. And most people track projects or whatever you're working on, but we wanted to track like how many customers call in with a new credit card and need to speak to somebody and have that credit card manually entered in a system. Or we want to know how much time that's taking, or how much time they're taking dealing with opening physical mail. So all these little tasks can be watched in here, and it can be watched system-wide in a report. So if you have 6 different people doing mail or different people doing certain tasks, you can have it all together. And using that system, which again is free, is how we decided what we wanted to automate. So the credit card one, for example, was a bit of a pain because you don't need to have our guys talking on the phone, getting a new credit card to manually put in the system. So we get a program, and we realize that's like 10 hours of our month going to that. And we get a programmer involved and automate the process. So the clients can just go to this page, stick your credit card in, it automatically updates your billing profile. And now that 10 hours I can use from one of our employees to something more effective, or something we can't automate, or Campfire, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Campfire. It's built by a company called 37 Signals. Because we're a virtual business, Campfire is an online chat. Most online chats are one-to-one. Campfire is multiple people can be in the chat. So we've got outsourced people in the Dominican Republic and the Philippines, and then our staff are here in British Columbia, but they're all at home. So everybody logs into Campfire when they're on. So if somebody's talking to a client or emailing a client or doing live chat with a client, they're all in Campfire, so they can ask questions and deal with each other as if they were in an office to get things solved and figure things out for customers. And the cool thing is it's all recorded. So myself and my business partner can go through and see what's happening during the day. Like, what are the questions our outsourcing guys are asking? Why are they asking that question? How can we stop that question from being asked? And continue to automate and systemize. That's a paid product, by the way. Blogging, Shane talked a little bit about blogging. Blogging is pretty much the best thing we've ever done for our business. It's the way I communicate to our customers, potential customers, sort of to everybody. But the beauty about it is we get to control the message, or I get to control the message. And in doing that, the conversation happens on our blog because that's where the comments are. So even if it's negative or negative comments, we leave them all and actually get the chance to come in and respond. Like Shane had said earlier, people are talking about you on the internet, and we just want them talking about us in places that I can control. And not sort of manipulate, but not really manipulate, but at least you're in control of what's being said about the business. And it's a very effective tool. Like I said, it's the #1 thing we do that brings us business. A lot of my speaking things that I've done is because of the blog. Meetup.com, this was kind of a unique thing we did. We used to send salespeople out with the Ubitor software. We'd send the salesman out to a real estate office, and they'd go and do their pitch to 100 realtors and hope that some of them would come sign up to be on the software. And the problem with that was it's expensive to send people out to do that. Our product is a monthly fee. There's no setup fee, so it's difficult to compensate salespeople properly for that kind of work, even if you get 30 sales. So we wanted to find a way to stop doing that completely. We basically laid off our whole sales team and started using Meetup.com, and we created what we call the Real Estate Technology Meetup. And the idea is that once the first Monday of every month, we run this meetup, and we'll bring in a different speaker. I've spoken at it, Shane's spoken at it. We bring in a different speaker to talk to realtors about technology in the industry. But the beauty about it is I'm not seen as a supplier anymore, I'm seen as an educator. And the people that are showing up to our meetups are the ones that care about us. So if I still have 100 people in the room, it's a way better 100 than the 100 that are sitting in the office and listening to me because their manager said I was allowed to come in and talk. It's a paid tool again, but it's unbelievable. We've got about 900 members in that thing now, and they're all people that listen to us, and I can put our message out to and reach to Ubitor and deal with these kinds of realtors. Online video, massive. We started doing video blogging a couple, 6-8 months ago, and we've got these little flip cameras. Roger's got one of these little flip cameras there, and we basically hold the camera out and just sort of pick a specific topic and hit it for about 2 minutes. So sometimes it's a topic where somebody just sent me an email, like I did a video this morning. I had a friend of mine email me all upset about their realtor. They wanted to sell their place, they haven't sold their place. They're emailing me, asking me what I think they should do. And I went and looked at their listing, looked at the realtor's stuff and Craigslist, and the price on Craigslist was different than the actual price because they forgot to lower it when they lowered it, and the guy didn't have a website. It was just sort of a big mess. So I did a video on that saying, to realtors out there, are your clients calling people like me saying, should I fire my realtor? And basically that's what's happening. And now she's put me in, my friend is, I'm sort of in control of which realtor she's going to move to. And she's moving because I sort of showed her the holes in what that person's doing. But the beauty about video allows you to sort of communicate these weird things that happen in everybody's business day in and day out. Press is a big one. I'm going to sort of leave this one up to Norman, but we're a big believer in press. We've been in business in Vancouver. I think that's it there on the top right. But I'm a big believer into using the media to sort of spin our message or tell our message. The reason I really like it is we don't do any advertising. We don't really pay for advertising because I've always found that if I've got that magazine, the Vancouver Lifestyles magazine, my business partner and I were on the cover a while ago, And if I paid for an ad in that magazine, I would never show it to somebody. Once it's gone, it's gone. But I drag that thing around all over the place and show it to kids like 2 years old now. But it's the power that somebody else is saying that we're good and we've got this neat product, and you can sort of show these things forever and ever, because it's, well, maybe not forever and ever, but it's a great way. It's a great way to have somebody else sort of telling your story and telling your message. Live chat. I don't know if anybody uses live chat in their business. We do all of our customer service for the Ubitor products is now live chat. We don't take phone calls anymore. The calls that come through get routed through Grand Central and sort of dealt with and into voicemail, and then the voicemails come in so we can call them back, because we want to push clients into the live support. The reason we do live support is because we can solve problems basically instantly. If we can't solve the problem, it's either something we're not going to fix, or not that it's not necessarily a problem, it's maybe something we're never going to do, the software doesn't do that, whatever it is. Or it should be fixed, and we'll fix it on the spot while it's land sitting there. And using live chat allows us to have our guys in the Philippines, the Dominican, talking with our customers. We've got one guy in Vancouver, and his whole job is reading every transcript. So they're doing the live chats in those places, and every chat that comes in gets sent to this one guy here, and he literally reads through it. If he sees a little ESL problem, or maybe the client's upset, or whatever it is, he picks up the phone, calls that customer, makes sure that the chat has been solved, because it obviously looks like it wasn't. And it keeps you can have a person in the Dominican for $2.50 an hour, and most of the chats are unbelievable. And it's just a matter of, like I said, systemizing the business. And I'll show you the tool that we use to do that. This is Twitter. I don't know if you guys are on twitter.com. This is I would consider sort of the most geeky tool I've got to show you. But just to show you an example, it's basically a micro-blogging platform where you can communicate with people around you about things. You only get to write 140 characters is all the space you get. So these are two conversations. The top three is one conversation, and these two are here, are separate conversations. But this one here is from about 2 hours ago. I said, how many of you are members of the Board of Trade, and what's the feedback about them? And the feedback I got from the first one says, seems like a good idea, but the cost is a big step, or a big steep for a one-man operation. That's a realtor in Vancouver saying that. And the other one is a bunch of old rich guys who don't know about Twitter. Maybe I'm wrong. So, not the best example, but that's a radio guy, a DJ. But the idea is that I found two people that have very specific feelings on the Board of Trade, and maybe the first one can be, because I don't know what the rates are for one guy, but maybe you can start that conversation with him and be like, well, actually, there is a one-man show type plan for the Board of Trade, and I'd love to meet for coffee. But it's like, it took me 1 second to post that, and I found two people that want to talk about it a little bit. And maybe the Board of Trade should be in Twitter watching for conversations like this and sticking their nose in it and discussing it. That's kind of how it works. The second one here is a friend of mine owns a restaurant. I took out the restaurant name. But I said, has anyone ever been to the restaurant? I said, feedback. And I got 3 responses, but I couldn't find the other 2. This was about 2 weeks ago. And this girl here says, it's been a while, but last year was overpriced for food quality. And this is a very high-end restaurant in Vancouver. So I was showing the owner, he's trying to do mail outs and stuff like that. It took me 1 second. I found 3 people. All 3 have been to the restaurant. The other 2 were positive. This one's negative. But why not invite all 3 down to the restaurant and say, hey, come on down. My name is Steve. Twitter me when you want to come. I'll make a reservation. Let me know. But then when they walk in the door, you can shake their hand. Owner shaking your hand with somebody coming in, like the owner of the restaurant. People dig that. It's a